This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You are watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
Right, so Tyson Fury, he spoke to Lance Pugmire and Mike Coppinger. Is it Coppinger or Copinger? Not sure. Either way, of The Athletic. And of course, they asked Tyson about the step-aside money for Deontay Wilder. Now, we know about the $20 million. Tyson Fury, he put out $20 million. Is it $20 million? I don't know. No idea. Tyson Fury's been doing a lot of lying lately, so who knows. But Bob Arum, he also said that Wilder, he has asked for a preposterous amount of money, so he ain't going to pay him. Frank Warren has said very similar too. And I know the Wildettes, the Twerk Army, they're saying how, no, Wilder, he don't want no step-aside money. He wants to fight because he's a warrior and blah, 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 blah. Listen, I know you're trying to save Wilder's credibility here, but Wilder's not a warrior, okay? He's just not. Has it not occurred to you that maybe Wilder said that he doesn't want step-aside money because they refuse to pay him? Surely that's a possibility for you, right? But Wilder's not a warrior, so don't try and paint him out like he is. No warrior will come up with all kinds of excuses that he has as to why he lost. No warrior will twerk every 30 seconds, and no warrior would say how he wants to be pregnant. All facts, by the way. Now, Tyson Fury has said this about paying Deontay Wilder. I wouldn't give Deontay Wilder £20,000. I pay in arse whoopings. That's what I'd give him. I'm not interested in giving anybody any money. They've got to earn it like I did the hard way by fighting the best of the best. Until then, they're getting arse whoopings from me. No step aside money. I wouldn't give him $1 million to step aside. I wouldn't give him 100 grand. I'd rather give him these big fists in the face. The first time Wilder had a boxing lesson, humiliation. Then he had absolute destruction in the rematch. I hate to think what he's going to get the next time. I'm going to have 2 sets of knuckle dusters in my gloves next time. Tyson Fury's statement. So, there's a multitude of ways of looking at this one. There really is. I mean, for me, okay, I understand. If he's talking about principle, why would you have to give somebody some money to not do anything? Now, if the Anthony Joshua fight wasn't there, I could understand that. I could understand because $20 million is a shit ton of money, isn't it? That's probably more money than what Wilder would get in the third fight anyway. But of course, I do have to ask the question, like, what would happen if Tyson Fury just says, I ain't fighting you and walked away? Okay, he'll get sued. Well, what kind of compensation would they award Wilder? Would it be $20 million? Maybe, I don't know. But you would imagine it would probably be between $10 million to $15 million, something like that. Either way, $20 million, $20 million. But if you look at it from the probability of what it is that's going on right now between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, you could probably look on it and say that Wilder and Fury had this conversation of, or at least the team said, from Wilder, hey Tyson, give me $20 million and I will release you from this contract. You are then free to go fight Anthony Joshua for undisputed for $100 million that the Saudis are willing to pay you for the first fight. Bearing in mind it's a 2-fight deal with Anthony Joshua, so $100 million first fight, $100 million for the second fight. Maybe more for the second fight, especially if Tyson Fury wins the first one, because the winner gets 60% for the rematch. So Fury could be earning $200 million, $220 million, who knows? But Fury is then responding to, I would rather risk losing 200 plus million than pay you $20 million. I would rather risk losing that than pay you $20 million. I mean, talk about stepping over gold to pick up pennies, as per my video earlier on. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. And it is a risk, because he may never get this opportunity again against Anthony Joshua first and foremost, and secondly, the amount of money that's currently on the table. Because how do we know that the Saudis or anybody else is willing to put up that kind of money again? They're going to feel betrayed right now. There's the first one, so maybe that kind of money isn't going to be there again. Maybe Tyson Fury loses to Wilder. It's unlikely, but it's possible. It's heavyweight boxing. Wilder has a puncher's chance as much as anybody. So it could happen. Then what's going to happen with Tyson Fury? He's going to sit there going, oh man, I could have had $200 million. Instead, I got $20 million for fighting Deontay Wilder, and I had to pay Deontay Wilder $20 million anyway to fight him. So Wilder's going to get a payday regardless. Fury's acting like Wilder ain't going to get a payday. It's like either pay Wilder $20 million or fight him and not give Wilder anything. Well, Wilder's going to get paid anyway. Okay, he's not going to come directly from Fury's pocket by fighting him, but still, it's still a risk. As in, it's a risk also that Anthony Joshua could lose to Alexander Usyk. It's a risk. You're throwing $200 million away, potentially, because you don't want to give him $20 million. You'd rather give him a payday anyway by fighting him. It doesn't make any sense, Tyson. It makes no sense, except for the fact that maybe after all these years of talking about Anthony Joshua, how he's a big stiff idiot, he's a robot, he's a dosser, I can beat him with one hand tied behind my back, I don't have to train to beat Anthony Joshua, I could get off the sofa and beat him, he's overrated, he's a hype job, etc, etc, etc. Well, okay, well, now's your time to prove it. I've got this contract. I had to go fight Deontay Wilder. I can't get out of it. Well, I could by paying him $20 million, but no, I ain't going to pay him $20 million. Basically, he's ducking is what he's doing. He's not confident of getting in that ring with Anthony Joshua. And I understand it. Anthony Joshua is a dangerous opponent. It is. But with Anthony Joshua, would he be the favourite in the fight? I'm not too sure. I would imagine probably Tyson Fury might be the favourite as far as the bookies are concerned. For me, I see it as a very 50-50 fight. But clearly, Tyson Fury don't. He sees Anthony Joshua as dangerous. He sees him as dangerous. But yet we're hearing Tyson recently talking about how he's a Spartan. Anthony Joshua is just a businessman. Well, clearly you ain't a businessman. I mean, we can certainly see that because you're not interested in $200 million guaranteed right now for your next two fights. You're not interested. You'd rather pick up chump change and go fight Wilder again and risk losing this $200 million. As confident as Fury may well be of giving Deontay Wilder an ass whooping, there's no guarantees Joshua's going to beat Usyk. I mean, you would certainly favour him to beat Usyk, but you never know. We all watched Andy Ruiz Jr. first fight. This is heavyweight boxing. Anything can happen. We're seeing what happened with Dillian Whyte when he fought Povetkin the first time round. One punch will just end it. You don't know how fights are going to go. For me, I'm more about taking a guarantee than taking a risk. If there's a guarantee of making huge money, I'll go there rather than risk it and taking pretty much chump change in comparison. 20 million ain't chump change, okay, let's not get it twisted. But in comparison to what he could be earning, it's chump change, isn't it? He's going to be paying Wilder anyway. And now his reputation is in the dirt. His own fans are like, what are you doing? Are you mad? I know Tyson, he's been doing very well after hyping up his name alongside Anthony Joshua, much like Wilder done for the longest time. All the time he's sharing stuff on social media about his merchandise on his story mode throughout Instagram and everything. I'm sure his sales were doing very, very well when people thought the Undisputed fight was going to happen. People want to wear his merchandise watching him take on Anthony Joshua. I bet his sales ain't doing very well now, are they, Tyson? Knowing that all this talk, you've turned out to be a coward is what you've done. You're a coward. And you want to hide behind 20 million. Okay, 20 million is a lot of money, but you could be earning 200 million for Undisputed and giving the fans what it is that they want. We've given this man a pass on too many occasions now. Tyson, you're an absolute joker right now. You are the joker of this pack right now. And that's the truth of it. And I don't like saying this because I've been a fan of Tyson for the longest time. I know some Fury fanatics don't like hearing any of this. Well, if it hurts your feelings, it's because you're emotionally invested in him. You can't argue with the truth. He's stepping over $200 million because he doesn't want to pay Deontay Wilder $20 million. That's not business sense. And that's not being a Spartan either. It's not being a Spartan. If he's a Spartan, he'd go fight Anthony Joshua. He'd take the shortfall for the long-term gain. That's what it'd do. Anyway, drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you on the next video.